What's going on, guys? So in this video, I actually want to talk about 6 easy ways to be a better conversationalist, make more friends, and actually make people like you. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. So this is actually coming from a book that I recently read, which is actually a classic, and I highly recommend everybody to go and check it out. It's actually called Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People, which you can see right here. I highly recommend everybody go read that book. It actually helps because there's 3 different sections in the book. One for handling people, the other for being a better conversationalist and making people like you, and then the last section being how to influence people. So in this video, we're only going to focus on one of the sections, which is how to make people like you, approach people, and make more friends overall. So number 1 is become genuinely interested in other people. So in this chapter, Dale Carnegie actually uses the example of a dog. So he says, have you ever noticed that every animal in the world actually has a purpose in life? For example, a cow has to produce milk, a hen has to lay eggs, and a canary has to sing. But a dog is the only animal that doesn't have to do anything for a living except for giving love. He uses that example to say that all human beings should be doing the same thing. Is when you meet a person, just become genuinely interested in that person. Ask that person questions that you genuinely want to know, and questions about that person, about trying to get to know that individual. And I think we should go about that path. Another part of the chapter that was really important is a particular quote where Dale Carnegie says, you could make more friends in 2 months by being genuinely interested in other people than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you. And I think that's extremely vital and important because of what I've come to realize through experiences and also by reading this book is that people are not interested in you. People are interested in themselves. If you even realize when you go on to when you have a phone call with a friend, you're constantly saying, I like to do this. I like to go there. I want to do this. But the thing is, of course you like to do it. It's you. You obviously like to do the things that you're doing, and you obviously like to talk about the things that you like. But the other person doesn't care. The other person likes to talk about themselves the same way you do about yourself. So if you could take that viewpoint when dealing with people and making friends, is ask questions. Ask genuine questions to try to get to know that person. Try to dig deep and try to find out different things. But be genuine about it, and also listen proactively as well. You'll come to realize that after just doing the minimal part of talking and just listening carefully, proactively, and asking the right questions, those same people will come back and say that that individual was a great conversationalist, even though you did the least amount of talking in that conversation. So overall, this chapter kind of wraps everything up by just saying, when you're meeting people, meet them with enthusiasm and animation. Show that you're really genuinely interested in that person by asking questions, listening proactively, and trying to remember the minor details about that one individual. Number 2 is smiling. I've made the conscious effort of when I meet somebody to always put on a smile. And I mean a genuine smile. I don't mean a fake one, because we know what the fake ones look like. You could catch it from a mile away. But you want to give the genuine, hearty smile when you meet somebody. And the main reason as to why we want to do this is that when we're meeting someone, the last thing you would want is to show that you're unapproachable, to show that you don't want to be talked to, and to show that you might snap back in a very mean manner. But the thing is, when you smile, you become more approachable. People want to come up to you and ask you genuine questions, and people are more willing to talk to you and try to get to know that individual because it makes them feel happy. If somebody's feeling down or they're going through a rough day, one smile could force them to smile, because smiles are contagious. You could actually change somebody's entire day by just genuinely smiling at them, and that could in turn change their entire mood and make them smile. Another thing is that actions speak louder than words, and a hearty smile actually says, I like you, I'm glad to see you, you make me happy. And I think if we take that approach when meeting new people, we're able to become a little bit more approachable, a little bit more friendly, and definitely a better conversationalist. So to wrap all of that up, smile, and make it a genuine smile. Let people know that you're approachable. Let people know that you want to be talked to. Let people know that you want to make a new friend. And if you don't want to smile for yourself, at least give a genuine smile to somebody to change their day. Cool, let's move on. This one is extremely important, which is try to remember people's names when you talk to them. Names are the single most unique item to that person. It makes them who that person is, and that's what they can identify with. When you use a name, it makes it far more personal than when you say, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, love. Something like that. While at work, when I go to meet people, or especially when I see people walking down the hallway, I always say their name after saying hi. So if it's Diana, if they're walking down and I see Diana walking down the hallway, I automatically say, hey, what's up, Diana? How are you? Or, hey, Fred, how's it going, man? Or, hey, what's going on, Chris? How are those reports running? You know, stuff like that. It makes it, like I said, very personal to the person, and it kind of lets them know that you remember. I think that's what the most important thing is about the name, is that it lets people know that you remembered. And when people realize that you took the time to remember their name, which, like I said, is the single most unique and identifiable thing, it kind of lets them know that you really care, and it makes them feel important. So I think we should all try this. So for the next week, guys and girls who are watching this, when you go to meet somebody, ask them for the name. If it's something that's a little bit like difficult to pronounce, that's okay. Just ask them, oh, how do you pronounce it? How do you spell it? And then make the conscious effort that next time you see them, you say it back to them. I think we're at number 4. So number 4 is be a good listener and encourage people to talk about themselves. People like talking about themselves. People care about themselves. Ask the other person about their life, and ask about the food that they like, and ask about their experiences. It gets them talking. And when it gets them talking, it makes them kind of like the person, because now they're talking about themselves. They're kind of like, you know, talking about the things that they care about. It makes them feel good, and it also makes them feel good that this person has their undivided attention. You're proactively listening. You're giving your undivided tunnel vision attention to that person. And when I say proactively listening, I mean you're listening and you're taking in that information, and then you're gonna build it up to ask the next question. You're gonna follow up on what they just told you, to take that, scrumple it up, get a question out of it, and then throw it right back at them, and then it gets them talking again. When you have to constantly talk about yourself, and when you're constantly giving the other person information about yourself, it kind of gives me a little bit of anxiety and overthinking paranoia, because I'm constantly thinking about what to tell this person. I'm constantly thinking about how to carry this conversation. And that could be hard for a lot of people, but when you realize that all you have to do to be a good conversationalist is to listen and ask genuine questions, genuinely trying to get to know that person, you're gonna think it's only been 5 minutes, but you've really been talking for about 40 minutes. Now, number 5 is kind of something that we already talked about, so I'm not gonna get too much into it, which is talk in terms of the other person's interest. We know this, I've mentioned it a million times so far, is to make sure to talk about the things that the other person likes. So let's say, for example, the person says that they really like to travel. So ask them, what are some of the countries that you've traveled to? What's your favorite country? What's your least favorite country? Ask a lot of whys. Why do you like to do that? Why do you like to travel there? What made you not like that certain place? It's funny because if we act like children, they kind of become like the best conversationalists, because a child is always just asking the same question, which is why? And we can kind of do that too, just don't overdo it. If they really like books, just say, oh, you know, what's your favorite book? What was the last book that you read? What's your favorite author? What's the book that they read last week that they learned the most from? And then when they start giving you these answers back, say why? Why do you pick that? And that's kind of gonna get them to talk more, make them think a little bit more and dig deeper into why they like certain things too. And making them talk about it is gonna make them really appreciate that you're listening. Now we're almost at the end of the video, and the last step is to make people feel important and to do it sincerely. Dale Carnegie actually uses the example of John Dewey, and he says that the desire to be important is the single most deepest urge in human nature. And Dale Carnegie also used the other example of this individual by the name of William James, who goes even as far as to say that the deepest principle in human nature is the craving of being appreciated. Now, notice that it's not a desire, notice that it's not a need, it's a craving. As if people need this almost as much as that they need warmth, food, water, and shelter. Let's take that when we're meeting people to assume that if this is true, then when we're meeting people, we're actually giving genuine appreciation. We're giving flattery, appraisal, whether it be their smile, their clothes, or even something as small as a salesperson helping you find the item that you're looking for, or a grocery clerk scanning your items and putting them in the cart, or even somebody that you meet on the street. I think your goal should be to try to get a smile out of everybody. So that's the 6 steps to being a better conversationalist, making more friends, and making people like you. And I hope that this video helped, and I hope that you try to implement this into your everyday life. Now, it's one thing to read these steps and watch this video and memorize it, but it's a whole different thing for you to take these steps and take these ideas and implement it in meeting new people by listening to other people, undivided attention, and asking the right questions, making sure that you're talking in terms of the other person's interest, making sure that you're smiling, making sure that you're using their name when you meet them again, or you're at least asking for their name, and giving genuine appreciation, giving genuine interest in another person. And I think that will go a very long way in terms of being a good conversationalist and making more friends overall. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you guys are successful in your endeavors to make more friends and be a lot more approachable and friendly, and always make sure to smile. All right, thank you. My name is Akhil Nova, and peace.